I not see plenty thing with my eyeball. I swear I feel passing more pressure. If you let cause me for not to judgment, they can put so on my skin. I know when you in no fool is a big display. My king just a heavy for my won't let it to you when I hate too. So to my low, if you tired, put it down. Down what I saw. To my low, if you tired, put it down. Down what I saw. To my low, if you tired, put it down. Down what I saw. To my low, if you tired, put it down. Down what I saw. To my low, if you tired, put it down. Down what I saw. To my low, if you tired, put it down. Down what I saw. To my low, if you tired, put it down. Down what I saw. To my low, if you tired, put it down. Down what I saw. To my low, if you tired, put it down. Sitting there, they just want me to do it and worry. But my blessing bring un se capeo. I say my blessing para sole, 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 sole. I don't go, I don't come, I don't go, I don't come with morale. Blessing rising, let us say I go out. Children running to jealous, say I know how. Let us say I know how. You tell my Lord, you told my Lord that you will get open more. You tell my Lord, you told my Lord that you will get open. I say you tell my Lord, you told my Lord that you will get open more. You tell my Lord, you told my Lord that you will get open. If you tired, put it down. Down what I saw. To my Lord, if you tired, put it down. Down what I saw. To my Lord, if you tired, put it down. Down what I saw. To my Lord, if you tired, put it down. Down what I saw. To my Lord, if you tired, put it down. Down what I saw. To my Lord, if you tired, put it down. Down what I saw. To my Lord, if you tired, put it down. Down what I saw. To my Lord, if you tired, put it down. Down what I saw. To my Lord, if you tired, put it down. Down what I saw. Down what I saw. Down what I saw. Down what I saw.
Good evening. Welcome to Audience with the Lord Choloply. Today with me is Morris Dolly is in the house. Pretty soon, Sidiki Kluma will be joining us. Today is the first edition of the Audience with the Lord Choloply. Mr. Dolly, good evening. How are you doing?
Yeah, Mr. Choloply, I'm okay, doing everything well, managing life bit by bit. No cause to complain, absolutely. Uh, are you?
Yeah, I'm doing extremely well, and it's good to be back here on this first edition of Audience with the Lord Cholope. And with me today, my co-host also is here, Sidiki Kloma, who based in Rwanda. So tonight we'll be having we did have a guest tonight, our first guest, but we'll have a situation where the guest father is uh not critically, but very ill, and he's in an emergency situation, so he could not make it, but he will be appearing on the next edition, which will be next Sunday. Gentlemen, it's good to have you on the Audience with the Lord Cholope. Well, I say, Sidiki, good evening. How's the Ramadan going?
Yeah, greetings, Brother Cholope, and greetings to Mr. Dole. The Ramadan is going well, and basically we are grateful for this holy month of Ramadan. It's a blessed month. So good to be here on the borderline, especially on the first edition of our program today. Unfortunately, I hear you talk about the guest not being available due to uh, his father being sick.
Yeah,
Uh, by the way, he's our dear brother,
yeah.
Duke. So I'll try to reach out to him after here to kind of, send my regards and best wishes to him. Yeah, but good to be here and looking forward to a good conversation.
Right, right. So, Padole, today is the first edition of Audience with the Lord Cholope, and this edition, it will be fascinating. We'll be looking at a few things and will not be long today. but this is the first edition. We're asking you all to kindly share the show. We'll be looking at situation in the Middle East from now, and then we'll be driving into Liberia. And Liberia thing is quite concerning. And what concerning me most is about the leadership in Liberia. And something that caught my attention yesterday, with there were a lot of celebration in Monrovia, and these people were driving around the city with this yellow machine, and young people were happy, jubilating to the extent that it's like they have never seen such thing like that in their entire life. So, but the question is tonight, on the Liberia issue, with the yellow machine transform the daily life of the people in terms of the bread and butter issue. We'll be looking at that as well. So, Padre, before we go, the situation we've been talking on the bottom line here about the Middle East. The war started in the Middle East, and it's getting dangerous day by day. What happened now? I mean, they brought down the Ayatollah, but they want a regime change. The head is gone, but it's looking different now. Padre, before you talk on this, I just want to put this on. They were able to kill three of the, is that three or four? Four of the main person. Let me see if I can put this out. If you look on the screen, you can see that the Ayatollah and three other key top members were taken out of the equation because Netanyahu and Donald Trump wanted regime change, but they have killed one. They killed the head. Does that mean the war is over? But you familiar? You know more about the Middle East and about Iran. You want to chime in, and then we'll get Siddiqui before we move on to Liberia. You muted, unmute.
Yeah. Let me try to unmute myself. Basically, the situation in that part of the world is very, very complex because the one thing that is very difficult to contain is the ideology. So that government is not based on administrative formula. That government is based on ideology. So to eliminate ideology, it takes time to be done in a gradual process. So obviously, it's killing the supreme leader, killing some military type guy and thing, then that will not eliminate the ideologies of the people that in that country. They adopted that system for over 40 years. So the ideology is become part of their DNA. So to remove the ideologies from them, the formula, how they being portraying themselves is something that will take time with it. So, that's the reason why many of the sensitives in European countries did not sanction this war because they knew to put the situation under control is not going to be an easy thing. So for this reason, they did support it. Even France government, Germany, and some other Western countries did not support it because they know the consequences of it. One of the major consequences going to be if the work of that country escalate, the citizens flee from that country. Where they going to go? They're going to start finding means to go to where? Europe. A European going to find difficult to continue this kind of situation. So that's how I see it to be. So I don't know. That's why I was telling you guys then from onset. I said, let's wait and see how things will start. So I don't know where is their position right now at this moment. So I have not been following the news to that extent. So that's what I can say in this thing here. The consequences
Well,
the European will feel.
the thing is getting crazy because Iran now has widened the war into several other countries around there. And they said that if you attack them, because they're not capable of reaching America, but all American bases within a region, they'll go after them. So yeah, they stuck to their gun and they're doing it. And this is causing mayhem in the region. Now, tomorrow morning, when we all wake up,
Mhm.
price is going to go up on everything, especially gasoline, because and what they did, there was an oil tanker in the Hormone Strait that were they blew up today. So where are we heading? Is it going to cause more chaos? Netanyahu got his wish. He wanted this guy killed. Yeah, they done that. But then where's the end game? That's the question. Siddiqui, what say you? This Ramadan time. Look at the time they chose to kill people.
Yeah, it's an interesting and very very concerning issues, especially with in the Middle East. Uh, to be frank with you, Brother Cholope, I don't know, I don't have much information, but I did listen to President Trump doing his press conference a few days ago, where he mentioned that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. You know, I don't know. It's a historical kind of conflict because some of the instances that he lay out, that Iran has, as a country, been killing American, and attacking American base in the Middle East. These are many, many years ago and even decades ago. But it seems like the U.S. government, uh, especially under President Trump, they are kind of fed up with it, but I don't get it fact. I don't get more information on what's actually spark up the recent. But I know that the U.S. is not fighting alone. They are in collaboration with Israel, to take on this attack. What is so interesting is that I see a lot of Liberians getting involved with this. Everybody want to have an opinion, or have a say, because at the end of the day, just as you put it, no matter what you do, we say we have an interest or not, it's still going to have an impact on us because, you know, the Middle East, they control bulk of the oil that we use here in Africa or even around the world. So it's a very, very concerning issue. And I hope this thing can be put to an end. I heard that yesterday the U.S. Security Council, they were having a meeting. I don't even know the outcome of that meeting. And our country happened to be at that crucial platform to make a decision on what is going on in the Middle East. But all the best, we just have to put our hands up and pray, for peace, Yeah, but that's all I have to say for my end.
Yeah, Siddiqui, you're right. It is a definite difficult time for the people in the Middle East. And I think what Iran is doing, and I think if I were in the same shoes, I would do the same thing. If to go down, you go down with everybody. So now they have trying to get everybody in the region involved, and that involvement it will cause America. America won't regime change. It means they will have to put boots on the ground, which they don't want to do. But the way these guys trying to spread the war around, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be $5. For some reason, you are off the camera. So, yeah. But anyway, Siddiqui, this to say we will not be long today because the main guest of this show for some situation, uh, he was unable to show. Also, he will be here with us next Sunday. But Siddiqui, this situation in Liberia, a bit concerned that a lot of young people now, I saw something yesterday that they were moving the yellow machine around Monrovia, going maybe Kakata or somewhere. And I could see young people in the red light area jumping or jubilating that the yellow machine has come. And the yellow machine thing is becoming that the government now are they are scoring political point instead of how this to tell people what the yellow machine going to do. So people are now happy that the yellow machine have arrived. They all jumping and doing all of these things that is happening in Liberia. So I don't know if you watch anything like that. It's that the government they have played their card well on the yellow machine, but the thing that involved is where is the money, where the money came from to purchase the yellow machine? Are we own, are we, is there a credit that Liberia have to pay back? And what would be the return investment of the yellow machines that they brought in? It's just something that concerning. But then after we talk on this, I want to play Mr. Cummings' plan for Liberia, and that plan for Liberia to see how a leader think about putting his country together. But then on the other side, we didn't see this from Joseph Barker, and we didn't see it from George Weah. So people who have good plan, I know Dr. Moba had his layout as well, which are quite good. But the two parties that seem to dominate, it's not from their end. So it's like try and error. So what say you about this thing that people are so happy to embrace the yellow machine because we get short memory in Liberia? Yesterday there was demolition. Today people are jubilating for what? Yellow machine. Talk to me, my brother.
Yeah, I think the issue about that yellow machine and that of the kind of, you know, uh, celebrations you see going on all around the country is, I will kind of relate that to ignorance. And sometimes when you say to Liberian people that, we have bulk of our population that are kind of ignorance, and some people take it as an insult, but it's not insult. Being ignorant means that you don't have sufficient, information on certain things that is going on, or you don't really know what's going on, and you kind of, you know, just see things from the surface and just accept it for what it is without getting more duties, and basically that's what ignorance is. It's not like you are stupid as the way we tend it to be in Liberia, but yeah, the yellow machine stuff, there are so many questions, and bulk of the Liberian people, they just seeing it on the surface of what the government propaganda is. They've been able to set out that these equipment that are coming to the country is going to be used to open up farm to market road. But again, you ask yourself a question about a Cholope. Where are they found in Liberia? That you're talking about opening farm to market road. Where are they found? You go to most of these counties, you don't even see any substantial, nothing like good. The farm we make in Liberia is for hand to mouth.
Mhm.
Most of the farmers that say they're making farm. If they take what they use for the personal, use, they don't even have enough to say they're going to sell it to the market. But this is what the government is using, and unfortunately, due to the illiteracy rate in our country, this government is taking a very good advantage of that to kind of present themselves that they are different, and what they are doing, and I want Liberian people to understand this. You cannot compare yourself with CDC. That means you've not come to change anything, because Liberian people gave the CDC administration 6 years. They will have re-elected CDC or George Weah for 12 years. But they said CDC didn't do a good job, so they rejected them 2023 and bring for you Unity Party to do what CDC could not do. But every now and then, I see them comparing themselves with CDC. That means, how can you compare yourself with failure? If you actually want to succeed, you want to make, present a different narrative, you want to improve the lives of Liberians, and so forth. Why are you competing with CDC? CDC was a failure, and that's why they are not in power today. But that yellow machine stuff, Brother Chilope, is just so unfortunate. And I hear you talk about, whether the government got the machine through loan. Yes, of course. It was a loan. And the government, the people of Liberia have to pay that money. Accelometer, you ask yourself, I think they said the entire 285 yellow machine, the total amount should be about 24 million US dollars, right? So Accelometer just gave the government 200 million. So what, the government could not take 24 million for the bodies, but you have to put the country on debt, because you want to prove a point that you're breaking 285 yellow machines. But at the end of the day, first of all, and what is so interesting about this is that when they took the machines from the free pool, they are not carrying it directly to these different counties. They will go and pack it to the barrier. The first machine they brought in,
Yeah.
They pack it to the barrel for many months. And at the end of the day, the waiter, everybody go to bed. Midnight, they took the machines out and carried the free and carried back to the Uno, to wherever they came from. So now they're taking it to the barrel again, and I see some of those machines already having the counties, so, and the counters is supposed to go through and all these kind of different things. But it is unfortunate. At the end of the day, trust me, uh, maybe a year or two from now, the Liberian people, the reality will set in. They will get to understand that this whole yellow machine thing, because come to think about it, that money you're taking 24 million US dollars, if you have bought that, equipment, farming equipment, and send it to the different counties, empower our farmers, you know, to do more farming. And before you even think about, the people don't even get good farm. Then you say you facing farm to market road. But if you talk right now, bulk of the population will go against you, because obviously the narrative they've proved or they push out there, it's kind of hard to defeat. But it is our prayers, like Mr. Cummings will always say, let's pray that the yellow machine, you know, be able to face our role. Because if we do that, the Liberian will benefit, and that's what we want. We are not praying against the Yellow Machine project. We are not saying the Yellow Machine project should fail. It should not be a successful project. That's not what we are saying. We are praying so that they succeed. Because when it succeed, it's going to develop the different counties and what have you. But at the end of the day, this is going to be another sad story, because it is what it is. We've seen this
It is.
before, and this
Yeah.
is this is not new to us.
Yeah. So thank you, Sidiki
Mhm.
Padole. I know you're a strong supporter of the yellow machine, which you say is a good thing for the country. But what I've been seeing lately, that they're taking a machine to shuffling, and I see a lot of young people celebrating like the bread and butter issue now is have been resolved. So I know, but this celebration and the country have not said anything yet the main purpose of this yellow machine. So I don't know
I
if
don't
you,
know.
you want to talk about, so we can move on to
You call Makada.
the next thing. Oh, so Padole is
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, man. It's my late niece, the jet leaving me. Eh, Mama Fata, sorry. Let me omit myself.
yeah, you muted. So while Padole is muted because he's somewhere celebrating the how they call it the fast. So if you unmute
All
now, you
right.
can talk.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll omit. Basically, I heard what Siliki said. Siliki couldn't say more than that, to be honest. Siliki have said, oh, you know, but what I can tell anyone, the 90% of our population today, they never say good. Many of them were born during the war. Those that were not born during the war, they were teenager at the age of 5 or 6, below 10. So obviously they knew nothing about good thing.
Mm,
So whatever they are seeing today celebrating, I can't blame them too much. But the so-called 40 years administration, people that say that they served the country for 40 years and playing the mind of our citizens to perpetrate themselves into to leaderships and things then, and continue to malign the people with this kind of fake actions, that's not serious problem. I hope, I hope, because what I'm getting to investigate, the yellow machine that is there, bro, is a low standard equipment. It's a very low standard equipment they just bring. How long will this equipment then last? Best known to those that went and buy it and those that sell it to them. So I am not certain whether it will really serve the appropriate purpose of what they buy it for. But nothing else we can do. So That's why I can say right now, Mr. Choloply, because of the situation I'm in tonight, I'm a little bit tired of with some traditional activities and things. Then, so
We, we,
if you can
we,
allow me to quit, then I will appreciate that.
Okay, we'll take it from here, and we want you to chime in something quickly before you go. But however, we will get you next Sunday when we have our guest. So yeah,
Yeah,
so thanks,
I
Adole.
got good.
Yeah,
Thank you
so
very much.
we're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll move on to the next segment of this program.
All right, then. See you up.
In a world drowning in noise, where sound bites replace substance, there's a voice cutting through the chaos. Audience with the Lord Choloply conversation, where Liberians and global citizens tackle the questions we're afraid to ask. Every Sunday at 8 p.m. UK and Liberian time, and 9 p.m. Central European time, Audience with Lord Choloply. On the Bottom Line, Liberia explores the issues that keep you up at night. Democracy's future in the age of misinformation. Economic systems that serve people, not just profits. Technology reshaping our lives. Reconciliation, development, and the crisis of meaning in modern Liberia. No easy answers, no tribalism, just intellectual courage, genuine curiosity, and the willingness to wrestle with complexity together. This is for Liberians who refuse to shrink their thinking, who believe nuance is wisdom, who are ready to remember how to think, not just what to think. Audience with the Lord Choloply Show. Sunday, 8 p.m. Liberian time. Subscribe now. Join the conversation on the Bottom Line Liberia, because the questions that matter most are the ones we're brave enough to ask.
Welcome back to Audience with the Lord Choloply. My co-host tonight is Sidiki Krumah, who based in Rwanda. Sidiki, I like what you said, and this program is actually to help Liberians to have better thinking, because for some reason we don't have common sense, we don't reason. So that's the whole idea of Audience with the Lord Choloply, to get people to start thinking. If yellow machine come into the country, great, everybody celebrate. But the government have not told us yet what they're going to do with the yellow machine. So that is also great to know. But however, let's move on. The thing is, there is a point I want to bring in as a video. I want to play. The reason why I want to play this video, when you come to power, before coming to power, you have a plan. You lay out your plan. Now, when I come to power, this is what I intend to do. And so I want to play this video, and then we'll talk about it.
There are 5 priorities we have, and we call that the what. And then there are 5 things we call the how we'll do it. And those priorities are as follows. Our first priority is infrastructure. Simply put, it's electricity, it's roads, it's water, and it's internet and cell phone connectivity across Liberia. We have to invest in infrastructure. That is the top priority. That's the basis on which we can and will do everything else. The second priority for us is job creation. There are too many unemployed, underemployed, and unemployable Liberians. The unemployment rate is over 85%. And therefore, job creation is our next priority, creating jobs for the Liberian people. So after job creation, our next priority is agriculture. We are a country, after 170 years, that do not feed ourselves. Last year alone, we imported over 160 million United States dollars in rice import, and total food imports was over $280 million. These are things we can do for ourselves. We should be producing rice to feed ourselves, and my commitment is that by the end of my first term in office, we will be self-sufficient in rice production. And within education, we are focused on vocational training, teachers training, and adult education. But we have to educate our young people because, again, that's how we can help them create jobs. That's how we can train farmers. And so these things are all linked together. And our final priority in terms of the what's is health. Because you can have good infrastructure, you can have a good job, you can feed yourself, you can have great education, but if you don't have your health, it doesn't matter. And so health is our fifth priority, and there we're focused on primary health care and preventive health care. So those are the what's we'll do for our people, for the Liberian people. How are we going to do these things? The first how is we want to engage Liberians differently in the transformation of our country. We call this hearts and minds. How do we get all Liberians to participate in the changes that are required? We're going to use arts and music and culture and reconciliation and religion. All of these things, we will be deliberate in using these things to engage us as a people in this transformation process. And so we're doing some work on how we can make those things happen. The next how is that we're going to find the money. We have to find the resources, the money, to do all of the what's I mentioned earlier. And the way we'll find the money is first we'll go after waste in government. You know, we spend a lot of money on things that we don't need, or we pay too much for things that we do need. So for example, I believe the vehicles we buy for our government officials, we spend too much money on that. We should reduce the number of vehicles, and we should buy less expensive vehicles for our government officials. We need to reduce how much they make so we can pay teachers and civil servants and police officers and the military officers and healthcare workers, people who actually do the work. We need to pay them more money and reduce the gap between those at the top and those who actually do the work. The other way we'll find the money is going after this thing called corruption. You know, corruption has been the bane of our country. Is the primary reason why we are as underdeveloped as we are today. And we will aggressively go after corruption. The first thing we'll do is we will appoint a corruption czar, a minister in charge of corruption in the presidency that will coordinate all of the agencies that are meant to find corrupt officials. Secondly thing we'll do is we'll make sure we are giving the resources, the money, the right people, the right logistics to the anti-corruption agencies, the LACC, Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the General Accounting Office, the Public Procurement and Concessions Commission. We will make sure they got the right resources to go after corrupt officials. After that, when we find people who are corrupt, we will prosecute them, we will put them in jail, and we'll seize the assets. It will not be good enough for you just to resign. Okay. So those are the things we will do to really go after corruption. I have committed that I will not take a salary. The salary that is paid the president, I will allocate it towards helping to fight corruption. That's how important I think it is to us. And then the other way we'll find the money is we'll make sure we're getting full value, the full monies we're due from our natural resources. We'll look to exploit other natural resources so we can get the funds required to fund healthcare, to fund infrastructure, to create jobs, etc., etc. So finding the money is the second how. The next how is we want to create a government of inclusion. We want all sections of our country to be represented in the government. We want opposition political parties to be in government. Because we believe that having a government inclusion will help all of us make the right decisions. It will make sure that we're spreading the resources of our country across the entire country. And then the last two hows, one is growing the private sector. We will focus on growing the private sector so Liberians can primarily benefit from that growth. No longer should Liberian business people be spectators to our economy. And we want to actively support Liberianization and encourage and provide credit and other facilities to Liberian businesses so they can participate. And last but not least, we will use technology. We'll leverage technology to help us achieve our goals. So those are the what's and the hows. But let me end by leaving you again with these two universal truths. One is we cannot keep doing the same things, my people, and expect different results. We cannot keep electing the same people with the same experiences and expect Liberia to change. We need to elect and select different people to lead us, to serve us, to help us manage and run our country. And the other universal truth is the best predictor of future performance and future behavior is past performance and past behavior. And on those two counts, I believe I stand head and shoulders above the other candidates aspiring to lead our country.
Right. Siddiqui, before you talk, the reason why I brought this out, people are celebrating Yellow Machine, but there's something that the other party have not done to explain how they were going to lead the country. They only came up with this thing here that I'm going to put up there. Arrest, agenda, agriculture, rule of law, education, sanitation, and tourism. But they have never explained in details how they will go about doing it. In the end of 2025, before we saw documentation of the developmental part of the arrest agenda, and now we're in what, 2026.
Yes.
So we see Yellow Machine now. We don't know where it for. People are confused. People are happy. And look, Thomas lay it out. From 2017, he been saying the same thing. So that means this guy is up, ready to run when he's given the opportunity. But the other people have not said so. Up to 2026, they're still trying to put things together. They set up a road commission that will monitor the Yellow Machine. That tells me, and now I saw a documentary where in the newspaper where Samuka is now requesting $4 million for operational of his office. So that means he needed money first before they start talking. Talk to me, Siddiqui. This is Liberia.
Yeah, you know, again, oh my God. Again, Brother Choloply, are you getting me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry for that disturbance. Somebody was trying to call me. Again, glad that you played that video, you know, and at least if the Liberian people can listen to this, and this is where we are appealing to the Liberian people. If you're listening to this, maybe after the live and listening, let's put aside our sentiment. We've done this for many years, for so many decades. 178 years old as a country. You know, every time there's election, we become too emotional. You know, our sense of reasoning, it seems like it get lost. You know, just listen to this video. You just play this video. You know, explaining to you the 5 watts. Because it's easy now, Brother Cholope, for Siddiqui to come and say, I will fight corruption. But how are you going to fight the corruption?
Exactly.
Eh? It's easier to tell you, say, oh, we're going to invest in education. How are you going to invest in education? How are you going to create jobs, for example? And this was clearly explained to you. But because of sentiment, and so some Liberians, a bulk of the Liberian people, this is why we are where we are today as a country. We are so loyal to our political parties, people from our different counties, kinsmen who've done nothing for us absolutely to improve our lives. Then we are loyal to our country, Liberia. You know, so we have to put away the sentiment. Just listen to this man. You know, you can have a country like Liberia. We are a small country, very small population, 5 million people. You know, you put a serious leadership in office. In 10 years, 8 years, you will see something different, fundamentally different in your lives. This is not something we're talking about. Somebody coming to read blueprint, put it on presentation, slides, and show you. No, this is something you will feel, you will see. That you can say, you know what? A few years ago, I didn't have a job, but this is what I'm doing today. A few years ago, we used to have thousands, just recently, Brother Cholope, you have thousands of Liberians graduating from the University of Liberia
No jobs.
with, with limited opportunity in the country. So we have to open up our minds. You don't have to be ANC partisans. You don't have to be supporter of Mr. Cummings, but just listening to this video, you just play this video, laying out. And honestly speaking, all of the people who are running for president, the Liberian people get us saying, they say when the Christmas will be good, you'll know it from the Eve.
Yeah.
All these people who are running for president and people who have been opportune, God bless them, because no matter what you do to be a president, God first. Then the population will cancel. Right? God bless them to get the opportunity. Look at what they've done for themselves in their own lives. Versus look at what Kumi has done for himself. As a young professional working at LBDI in Liberia, choose to go to the US to go and do his master. Went there to Atlanta University, Clark Atlanta University, graduated, started working with Pittsburgh, an American company, competing. From there, taking over a job as deputy regional director in Coca-Cola Nigeria, coming there when the workforce, and this is why you spoke about job creation. He has a record of doing it. The workforce at that time, Cholope, at Coca-Cola Nigeria, majority were white people. But when you got in the system, identified talents, and worked together, 70% of Africans were creating jobs for thousands of Africans. And because of that, he got elevated to becoming president of Coca-Cola Africa. Not Nigeria again, but Coca-Cola Africa, controlling the entire Africa. Overseeing billions of dollars and expanding, operations in so many African countries. And because of the result, he succeeded to becoming the chief administrative officer globally in the entire world.
Let me ask you, Siddiqui, this sort of message that if you play it to an elementary student, when he sit down patiently in the classroom and he listen to that, it's just simple and clear. What is lacking? Why is this sort of message not been sold in Liberia? Why? Because he make it so clear. This is how and the what. He make it clear. This is what we do. This is how we do it. What is the problem?
To be honest with you, Brother Cholope, he said something that is very, very interesting. That video you just played, that's, I think, when Mr. Cummings contested his first election.
Yes.
And he stepped up with that. In contested 2020, that's the same video.
The same message.
2020, it will be the same video. That's the same message. Very consistent. And here is something he said I want to bring to your attention. He said, as president of the country, I will not take salary.
Yeah.
Whatever that amount is, I will not take it. We'll invest it into fighting corruption. And this is to show you how serious I am to fighting corruption. How many people that are running for president will tell you they now won't pay? They are all hustlers. So, country like Liberia, you don't need a typical Liberian politician who've been into this political. Every time now and then they tell you, say, remember, go in the house, in the legislature, and start off as being representative or senator. We are 178 years old. All the people that who you've been having in the house, what have they been able to change?
So but Siddiqui, the thing behind it, they said governmental experience in Liberia. Me and you know, when they say government experience, it means you have to go learn how to steal. Stealing is the experience. It's not that you're going to do something that will impact the lives of the people. Oh, let's go in your house. In your house, where they say, Mr. Cummings, you go in the house is the biggest thieves in the town. They are the rogues in the town. They suck the country money and they get all the big cars. So why will you go in a place that you're going to sit among a bunch of thieves? It really don't make so the government experience in Liberia. Oh, my man saying you know how to steal. Join me will teach you the loophole how to steal. And Cummings said something in that video that they will invest in technology. The world has moved on. We are now
Yeah.
in technology age. AI
Thank
doing a lot
you.
of things. Liberia,
Yeah.
we still buying data for some reason that orange. And so if you have internet connectivity all around the place, don't you know it will help? And he said
That's
it. So
and,
now the
and
reason why I'm bringing this up, and I want to post something up there for you to elaborate on it. This arrest agenda that they talk about, talk to me about it. What is the scorecard of this arrest agenda that they said the old man have the most experience? He was going to come to do the best that George Weah couldn't do. But today we've seen that the experience is all over the place. See, so
so
talk to me about the
so
internet
first of all,
connectivity in this one. Yeah.
the arrest agenda, that's something they craft without having any plans, to win the election based on all of us effort in the CPP after we've kept in attention of the Liberian people and the notice they decided to leave, whatever, but that is past. But that is something the craft put together quickly.
No, but it was Henry Costa who was doing a podcast say, "Oh, arrest," and
Thank
then
you.
they
Thank you.
decided to run with it.
To just one way without any preparation, any plans, nothing. So when you speak about a scorecard, I will tell you zero. They've not done a good job because IRS is focused on agriculture, rule of law, sanitation, tourism, and I think that's it basically. So let's look at agriculture. Yeah, they've not done a good job. Zero roads. You know, going to the southeast, maintaining the model roads, and spending 24 million US dollars to maintain roads. You're not fixing road, but you maintain it. You just listen to yourself. You're spending 24 million US dollars to maintain roads instead of fixing it up, four lane. And let's come to rule of law. You see what happening with the turning positions, people that are in turning position. Because they're not unity partisans, they didn't vote for Joseph Barker. They are getting removed. Until recently, the Enfield boss, I don't know if you follow that case. They remove him. And that was a turning position. He challenged them in court. The Supreme Court just ruled recently, a few days ago, that he was not to be removed. They should reinstate him.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, the empires at the Capitol building, the Supreme Court of the country, Brother Choloply, ruled that the majority bloc didn't follow the right channel to remove the speaker. And after 24 hours, the president of the country, who took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of Liberia, came up and said, "You work with the side, I get quorum." So where is the rule of law? Education. See what's happening to that at the University of Liberia. The student themselves, the student. Didn't you see the video recently? You have students taking pills and they're going to their own campus.
Yeah.
Huh? So just think about it. And the president is coming up, putting up fake data in his Sona, talking about school feeling. We are in 2025, 2026, sorry. And you're talking about school feeling program at this age and time. Sanitation. Bulk of in fact, the graveyard to Central Morova there, where you get out.
Central Street.
Now they've blocked that whole street. That's more dead on our street there.
Yeah.
So they've not done a good job. Sorry. They've done all this they put together. And I like how you put it. When they took office 2025 last year, that's when they put together that document, that work plan, how they're going to work to achieve these things that they've put here together. 2025, they were elected 2023, you're not already 2024, but they put a work plan together 2025 in Buchanan. You see, so they've not done a good job. They put a thing together called asset recovery to recover stolen assets for the country. 3 years now. Nobody can tell you what these guys have recovered, but every now and then they pay in it. They went and put Mountain Calling on our committee, asset recovery. At the end of the month, even though they've not done, recover any asset, they go call Mountain, my man, we get your salary here, 7,500. Who can we send it to? But Mountain said, well, what is this? How can you send me salary that I have not worked for? Huh? You pay me. The objective of this asset recovery is to recover stolen assets. How many assets we've recovered? They can tell the man. The man said, I don't want a lot of money. You see, he had to resign. Mountain Calling. You know, and this is the man they used to call Rescue Rambo. You remember that name? Rescue Rambo. You see, so they've not done a good job. Sorry, Brother Cholope, but at the end of the day, we are just appealing to the Liberian people. Look, you are in the country. You see more than what we see at the end of the day. And all of us are victimized because at the end of the day, we are all Liberians. You know, these things can be fixed. But the Unity Party seems that they were not prepared. You put a group of people in, they are so arrogant. You know, when you come and want to hold them accountable, things that they did yesterday, they think Liberia is a country that belongs to one of the United Partisans. When the you people can talk, and you're not supposed to talk when you talk, they want to silence you and be saying all kinds of sending a surrogate to come and attack you and all of that. But they've not done a good job, unfortunately. And we want to bring people to listen, to start putting the emotion aside, listen to these videos that you just played, for example, and listen to what Mr. Kumin, people like Mr. Kumin has to offer. You know, explaining to you, making it simple. This is what we're going to do, and this is how we are going to do it.
And you know, Sidiki, the reason why I think the ANC and other Liberian affiliation with Mr. Cummings and all that, I think they should do more promotional on a lot of radio stations. Even they can advertise there on a radio station, pay money, because this is just simple explanation. And then you wonder, why is it that people, even in the diaspora, that should know better, a play there, they will argue with you because the love of a person, not the country, not the administrative part of the country that everyone will benefit. Oh, because I love Sidiki, but Sidiki got nothing to offer. Because I love him, I will vote for him. This is how it been. And I want to post something here. You know, the last one under the guest, tourism. This tourism that they added there, it was never part of it. Remember when Cummings King said, look, we invest in ecotourism. The man with 50 years experience never had any clue of what tourism was, and then he decided to run with it. But now he in office 3 years now. What become a tourism? So this, I think the president need to apologize to the Liberian people for the deception that he came up with, that he created 70,000 jobs and a school feeding program, which is not there. I think that is his duty to tell the Liberian people, look, sorry, I lied to you. We didn't create 70,000 jobs because it's the surrogates that were going around talking about, or even if you said in plenty chips, that job creation. So that means since we have the yellow machine now that is parked at the Army Barry, when the yellow machines start operating, maybe if any of those drivers start them, they say like 200, 300 pieces of machine. That means they have created 300 jobs. So we'll have the index that when the operations start at 300 jobs being created, so we can take that as stake. That's job creation. But the 70,000 jobs that he said, I think the old man need to call a press conference and tell the nation, look, I'm sorry, I lied to the nation. We didn't create this job. So we brought in machine now. The first operation will be able to create 300 jobs. And that 300 jobs, maybe as we start operation, the number will increase. To make it simple. So, what say you?
No, I think you're right, Brother Cholope. Unfortunately, and that 3,000 job stuff, they went the next day, they measure information, such an embarrassing situation.
The 7,000, 70,000.
Yeah, they said they make a mistake, you know, and all the kind of stuff. I think the measure information spoke, you know. But again, Brother Cholope, it boils down to what all of us were saying during the election. We told the Liberian people this man is, will be 80 years old when you give him an opportunity. And there is nothing wrong with being 80 years old, but you cannot be a president of a country like Liberia and you be at that age. You will not be in charge. A young, energetic man like George Weah. He was the president, but still, you have people around him doing their own things. At the end of the day, you are playing with millions of people's lives. So we told them this thing, but they could not listen. Eh? So you get a group of people who just go and put figure together, say, give it to the old man to come and speak. Just see the Lofa project. Eh? The president came on such an embarrassing situation. President came on ERBC and said, "Oh, that project in Lofa, if you're going to tell me from the initial stage, I'm not going to. I'm going to resist." Yeah, but now you know now, Mr. President, what did you do? Eh? Who were fired for taking 6.1 million of the Liberian people taxpayer money? What is so urgent about that presidential villa? That he's talking about Manon River UN project. What's so urgent about it? 6.1 million. You know what 6.1 million can do? Eh? Do you know what it can do, especially in sector like the education or the health? 6.1 million US dollars. You take it and you go construct a presidential villa, and because now public outcry, you linking it to Mana River Union, talking about business people, international community are donors to this project and all of that. But unfortunately, you can't name any businessman that is contributing. But just the business people. Yeah, well, who is a businessman that contributed or that will be contributing to this project? You cannot tell us. And this is to clearly tell you that President Bouaka is not in charge. They are being selective. You can't say you holding someone to in court for corruption, doing the we administration, but you creating a Kwasa committee and appointing Brandon Samuka, who was in court convicted for stealing the AFF money. And how serious this undermine your effort to fight for corruption. Do you remember sometime in 2025, Brother Choloply, this government, they said it passed off the establishment of the War and Economic Chronicle? How far is that? How far is that? So they are just scamming the Liberian people. They jump from one thing to another. They don't even know what they're doing. And when they're ready to put lies together, and unfortunately, we have a country that back up the people, they fall for this. But we want them, look, when you bring yellow machine, for example, let's take the yellow machine stuff for as a case study. If this yellow machine is actually meant to make a difference in the people's lives, bring the machines, distribute it to the different counties, let the machine start to work. And as soon as this project kick off and is making impact on the people's lives, the people themselves will come out and serve as ambassador for you. So you don't need to wear cold suit, yellow suit, and go into the free post, and doing all these different things to prove a
yeah, that is quite amazing. You have not started any work yet, but you're celebrating. Yeah. So after you sort of started work, you see the fruit of the labor, and then people say, "Oh, this is the direction the country going." Because you said something, and they say when your eve will be, when the Christmas will be good, is from the eve. So from the eve, then you know that. So then the yellow machine start doing something. People say, "Oh, this is what the old man was talking about when he said rolls, rolls, rolls." But you have not started anything yet. Let's celebrate. So, and because our people don't think logically, let's celebrate with these guys. But these are the people that you're celebrating with that dragging your country into mud. So it's quite interesting that they have not done what they came to do, but then we hear all of these things about the sanitation. You messed that up because when it started, more early, people started digging old preps that they were getting some funny from. You remember when Donald Trump came and cut that thing down, what happened to that project? It stopped. No more money from USA. So that sanitation bit of it, what happened to it? You see, so they came up with a budget, say, 1.2 billion. Now that budget, 70% of that budget coming from foreign donors. You kidding me? Your own national budget, you depending on foreigners? So it just showed that this guy, but I want to play something here, and it's quite key. This is what I want to play, and I want to welcome a few person here. Is that Manuel Smith, Riverside Pro? We haven't seen you for a very long time. Welcome to the Bottom. This is the audience with the Lord Choloply. We hope to have you here one of these days. And those of you who are following or kindly share the show. Siddiqui, I want to post something up. Very interesting. You see, when people say something and they don't live by what they say, it's quite interesting. Let me put this up here and see, and I want your input on it as well. The president says something. It's just a few minute clips. He was interviewed on VOA, Voice of America or something, yeah. And they asked him simple question, and he went into explanation, which is very good at storytelling. Let me roll this.
I can tell you that I come to work not with friendship. I have friends, but there is a clear line of demarcation between friendship, family, and managing. With the experience that we come with a country that celebrates 176 years, and with the life of our people living below the poverty line, I don't think we come into government again to start talking about family, to start talking about, I think we come there to make sure that we give the Liberian people hope, and I'm committed to that.
Right. You heard him? They came to serve, no friendship. They came to give the people hope. That is the Liberia they came to serve. But then we found out lately that all the jobs were given to people from Louisville County. Maybe 60% of the workforce came from Louisville County. The guy who is getting all the project, we have been alleged that his nephew that getting all of these projects, building things. So if you came to serve and you're not there for friendship, then where are we heading? And so all the things you told us on VOA, that means it's not true. So we'll take a quick break. When CDT come back, we'll have this discussion further.
In a world drowning in noise, where sound bites replace substance, there's a voice cutting through the chaos. Audience with the Lord Choloply conversation, where Liberians and global citizens tackle the questions we're afraid to ask. Every Sunday at 8 p.m. UK and Liberian time, and 9 p.m. Central European time, Audience with Lord Choloply. On the Bottom Line, Liberia explores the issues that keep you up at night. Democracy's future in the age of misinformation. Economic systems that serve people, not just profits. Technology reshaping our lives. Reconciliation, development, and the crisis of meaning in modern Liberia. No easy answers, no tribalism, just intellectual courage, genuine curiosity, and the willingness to wrestle with complexity together. This is for Liberians who refuse to shrink their thinking, who believe nuance is wisdom, who are ready to remember how to think, not just what to think. Audience with the Lord Choloply Show. Sunday, 8 p.m. Liberian time. Subscribe now. Join the conversation on the Bottom Line Liberia, because the questions that matter most are the ones we're brave enough to ask.
Welcome back to Audience with the Lord Choloply. If you are interested being on this program, reach out to me. It's every Sunday from 8 p.m. UK time, Liberia time. We wrote the program for 1 hour. We're meant to have our guest today, but unfortunately, situation came out. He couldn't appear today, but we'll have our guest for next Sunday. So on this note, I just want to say, if you're interested, contact me, join me on this show, the Bottom Line Liberia, Audience with the Lord Choloply, and we can have a conversation. want to close this program with a message from Cummings. Why is it that he have a message that Liberians not hearing? So want to say it was great being here today, and we'll roll this video and we'll close the show. We're back here on Tuesday on the Bottom Line edition on Tuesday with the full team. Every Tuesday and Friday, the Bottom Line is here, and every Sunday is Audience with the Lord Choloply. So on that note, I want to play this and say good night to everybody. Please share the show. We're here every Sunday. This is our first edition, and this will continue throughout from now. So thanks for being with us, and thanks for sharing the show. Have a pleasant evening. Let me play this and see you on Tuesday.
There are 5 priorities we have, and we call that the what's. And then there are 5 things we call the how we'll do it. And those priorities are as follows. Our first priority is infrastructure. Simply put, it's electricity, it's roads, it's water, and it's internet and cell phone connectivity across Liberia. We have to invest in infrastructure. That is the top priority. That's the basis on which we can and will do everything else. The second priority for us is job creation. There are too many unemployed, underemployed, and unemployable Liberians. The unemployment rate is over 85%. And therefore, job creation is our next priority, creating jobs for the Liberian people. So after job creation, our next priority is agriculture. We are a country, after 170 years, that do not fear ourselves. Last year alone, we imported over 160 million United States dollars in rice import, and total food imports was over $280 million. These are things we can do for ourselves. We should be producing rice to feed ourselves, and my commitment is that by the end of my first term in office, we will be self-sufficient in rice production. And within education, we are focused on vocational training, teachers training, and adult education. But we have to educate our young people because, again, that's how we can help them create jobs. That's how we can train farmers. And so these things are all linked together. And our final priority in terms of the what's is health. Because you can have good infrastructure, you can have a good job, you can feed yourself, you can have great education, but if you don't have your health, it doesn't matter. And so health is our 5th priority, and there we're focused on primary health care and preventive health care. So those are the what's we'll do for our people, for the Liberian people. How are we going to do these things? The first how is we want to engage Liberians differently in the transformation of our country. We call this hearts and minds. How do we get all Liberians to participate in the changes that are required? We're going to use arts and music and culture and reconciliation and religion. All of these things, we will be deliberate in using these things to engage us as a people in this transformation process. And so we're doing some work on how we can make those things happen. The next how is that we're going to find the money. We have to find the resources, the money, to do all of the what's I mentioned earlier. And the way we'll find the money is, first, we'll go after waste in government. You know, we spend a lot of money on things that we don't need, or we pay too much for things that we do need. So, for example, I believe the vehicles we buy for our government officials, we spend too much money on that. We should reduce the number of vehicles, and we should buy less expensive vehicles for our government officials. We need to reduce how much they make so we can pay teachers and civil servants and police officers and the military officers and healthcare workers, people who actually do the work. We need to pay them more money and reduce the gap between those at the top and those who actually do the work. The other way we'll find the money is going after this thing called corruption. You know, corruption has been the bane of our country. Is the primary reason why we are as underdeveloped as we are today. and we will aggressively go after corruption. The first thing we'll do is we will appoint a corruption czar, a minister in charge of corruption in the presidency that will coordinate all of the agencies that are meant to find corrupt officials. Secondly thing we'll do is we'll make sure we are giving the resources, the money, the right people, the right logistics to the anti-corruption agencies, the LACC, Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the General Accounting Office, the Public Procurement and Concessions Commission. We will make sure they got the right resources to go after corrupt officials. After that, when we find people who are corrupt, we will prosecute them, we will put them in jail, and we'll seize the assets. It will not be good enough for you just to resign. Okay. So those are the things we will do to really go after corruption. I have committed that I will not take a salary. The salary that is paid the president, I will allocate it towards helping to fight corruption. That's how important I think it is to us. And then the other way we'll find the money is we'll make sure we're getting full value, the full monies we're due from our natural resources. We'll look to exploit other natural resources so we can get the funds required to fund healthcare, to fund infrastructure, to create jobs, etc., etc. So finding the money is the second how. The next how is we want to create a government of inclusion. We want all sections of our country to be represented in the government. We want opposition political parties to be in government. Because we believe that having a government inclusion will help all of us make the right decisions. It will make sure that we're spreading the resources of our country across the entire country. And then the last two hows, one is growing the private sector. We will focus on growing the private sector so Liberians can primarily benefit from that growth. No longer should Liberian business people be spectators to our economy. And we want to actively support Liberianization and encourage and provide credit and other facilities to Liberian businesses so they can participate. And last but not least, we will use technology. We'll leverage technology to help us achieve our goals. So those are the what's and the how's. But let me end by leaving you again with these two universal truths. One is we cannot keep doing the same things, my people, and expect different results. We cannot keep electing the same people with the same experiences and expect Liberia to change.